Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 47th episode of Final Round. As always I'm Squeak, but with a cowboy hat, and this is JB, who thanks to Astronormal, is now black.
The fun of capitalism. Tonight will be our predictions for UFC 117, Silva vs Sonnen. Pretty interesting card here, from one of the best MMA fighters in the world, to the only MMA fighter I know that has 10 meals at McDonald's.
And that will start us up with the big fat behemoth, that is Roy Nelson squaring up against Junior Dos Santos. The winner here will be the new #1 contender for the heavyweight title, but do they deserve it?
Dos Santos, yes. Nelson, no. I'm very surprised they have made this a #1 contenders fight, considering they both not face strong opponents that are at the very top. Don't get me wrong with Dos Santos though. Absolutely fantastic run of 5-0 against hard hitters like Werdum, Evil, Crow Cop, Gonzaga and Struve. I would have liked to see him fight the likes of Mir, though, just to see if he is ready.
So do you think that this fight has merit with this contender stipulation added?
I seriously don't know if this is UFC trying to make fresh fights rather than have the same people fight. I've never liked Roy Nelson, considering he wins by being a fat fuck. He hasn't good wins against good fighters. When you see this fight you say, Dos Santos needs to go to ground, then again we said that, and Dos Santos knocked the fuck out of Evil. I'm going to go for Dos Santos winning, and giving Nelson a much needed liposuction.
Up next is the living legend, that is Matt, who's going one-on-one against Ricardo Almeida. We've always said that Dos is one loss away from retirement. But he got a much needed win against Gracie. But this is a wrestler against the submission specialist.
Almeida has never won a fight by knockout, which doesn't go in his favor, but he has won several fights by decision. Hughes has got the experience needed to know how to cope and win a fight. This is a better rated fight for Hughes than the Gracie fight in my eyes. Tougher guy, good record and desire to do well. I think if Hughes keeps this standing he'll get the win, but take this to a ground fight then it's much more risky, with possibility of Almeida catching a submission in. But the big question for me here is, what does Hughes have left to do?
That remains to be seen here, JB. Our next fight here is between Clay Guida and Rafael dos Anjos. Both are coming off wins from their last fights and both are keen to get back into the lightweight title picture. This is easily Dos Anjos' toughest fight to date here, but does he have what it takes to beat the talented Clay Guida?
We've seen a lot of upsets in the past, especially with our predictions. They either are shock upsets, or the likes of Josh the Kokoschik still winning. Guida is a tough son of a bitch who has, like Cheat Congo, come so close to a title fight, but just misses out. I like Dos Anjos, but I don't expect an upset to take place here. So I'm going for a Guida win, with him maybe getting a rematch with Sanchez or the uprising John Hathaway.
We now go on to the sub-main event of the fight card between the top welterweights in the UFC. Yes, they're a match between Thiago Alves and John Fitch. Surely the winner of this fight will become the new #1 contender for George St. Pierre's welterweight title.
It's going to be an interesting fight, but Alves hasn't fought in over a year, which will affect him against someone like Fitch. This will be Fitch's toughest fight in a long time, and I see this fight going all 3 rounds with everyone giving it their all to get the win. Does it mean a title shot for the winner? Yes, I really think it should, as both have learned from their losses to St. Pierre and are still at the top level of the welterweight division. Whether Dana White thinks that is another story. I'm going to go for a Fitch win by decision here, as I think it'll be a close call.
Now on to the main event of the fight card between the middleweight and probably greatest champion in UFC history, Anderson Silva, defending the belt against Chael Sonnen. Silva has been criticized for his behavior in his last few fights, with even a threat of being released. Sonnen is keen to take the title off the much dominant middleweight, but can he do it?
No, and let me think, no. Silva is world class, and is regarded as the best MMA fighter in the world for a reason. Strength, agility, speed, smartness, he has all of them. I personally believe his behavior is down to fighting a lack of real named opponents. I didn't get it when he did it with Maya, but I did with Code. I think Silva wants super fights in all divisions. If you ask me, let him have St. Pierre, and then we really see who is the greatest. But there is no way UFC would let that happen. Sonnen has talent, he can win fights by strikes and submissions, but does he have the cardio to go through 5 rounds? We know he can do 3 easily, but can he endure with the best middleweight in the world?
So Sonnen has no chance in hell against the Spider then?
Yes, you idiot, that's what I just said. I'm a firm believer that the only people left are Vanderlei and Bisping. There's no one left after that for Anderson.
That is it for us today. We'll be back for UFC 118 predictions. Take care and see you all later.